Hello, Dad. This is Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey Podcast. And today's topic is this. This is us. This is me. Let's do it.
Hi, my name's Nico, and you're listening to my dad, Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Yep. All right, Dad. So 100 episodes in. I've done 100 episodes of the Dadhood Journey Podcast. It's been a year and a half since I launched things. It was Father's Day, 2 Father's Days ago at the time of this recording, that I launched the podcast, and a lot has changed in my own personal life as a dad. And when I look at that number as I'm creating episodes turn to 100, it causes me to, reflect back. It's a milestone in podcasting. It's also been a milestone, like personally going through this journey with you. I don't know if you've been listening all the way along or if you just picked it up. Regardless, I want to thank you for being a part of this dadhood journey, meaning listening to my dadhood journey, but mainly I wanted to help you on your own journey. You might not be going through the exact same things that I'm going through. You might not be going through them at the time that I'm going through it, but hopefully you're, one, getting a chuckle out of some things, but also getting tidbits that you can either use right away in your own dadhood journey or that you can file away so that you have some different tools available to you than you might not have had you not listened to this. So this episode, I wanted to kind of do a little summary, a little catch up on my own dadhood journey. One, for those of you who have been along the ride and know the changes that have gone on in my dadhood journey, but then also for me to kind of process. And that's definitely something I've realized I've gotten out of doing this podcast, is that it gives me time to reflect on certain things that have happened, that I share a story and something that I learned, so I'm able to process it even better, get a deeper learning about it, and teaching it or sharing it here deepens it for me, but then also it helps process things so I can kind of put it in a bigger perspective, because it's so easy, all the day-to-day things, to get in the minutia of it, and you don't get as much out of that when you get stuck in the tight focus of things rather than a broad perspective. So in a This Is Us sense, as far as Nico and I, we are 9 months at the time of this recording, 9 months into having our own place. It's affectionately called the Dude's House. I have a sign I made, a wood carving that's hanging on our tree out in front of the house. That's the name of the profile in Netflix, all kinds of little things. And the Dude House is what Nico came up with a while ago. Am I going to be at Mom's house, or am I going to be at the Dude's house? And I've just rolled with it, and I love that. These last 9 months, there's been a lot of bumps along the road. Fast forward to today, things are much, much better than when they started. I'm happy to say that. There's still a lot being worked out between his mom and I as far as how we're doing this co-parenting thing, and there's little skirmishes, sometimes big battles along the way, but we're getting through them as best as we can, and I think that's something that I've learned in a this is me sense right now, is that I'm not going to do things perfectly, and I will say that I do things with the best of intentions. On the other side of things, it might not be received that I'm doing with good intentions. I'm not being mean. I am just doing what's right for me and what's right for my son and I, and we don't always see eye to eye on that, his mom and I, and so sometimes it's perceived that I'm being selfish and not thinking of him or thinking of her and the like, and there's just a lot of factors in there. And so what I've learned for me as a dad, and this is me as a single dad, if that's not you, as a single dad, as a dad, there also comes down to, and that you need to make decisions that's best for you and your family, not just for your family and not just for you, for all of it. And so there's compromises that go along with that. And I believe as I'm going through that, I'm not seeing it yet, but I believe my son is going to be able to pick up on that. There's going to be a more adult conversation that we're going to be able to have later on in life when he's more age appropriate, maybe about like why his mom and I split up. And, obviously we'll be telling the version that, recognizing it's his mom I'm talking about, and I'm not going to say anything mean. I'm also going to be real about why it didn't work out for us. But then also, understanding like what he could potentially be getting out of this as a person himself, and learning about adversity, and learning and adapting to new things, and learning about how to work with his emotions. I mean, that's something that I've always ever wanted for him as a person, because that's something that I think we all need in an emotional IQ type of sense. But life has sent in a circumstance where he's working with it even sooner than I would like. I mean, as a dad, I never wish that on him, but there's been a lot of emotion, my emotion, her emotion, and his own, that he's navigating, and helping him understand that it's not all you. Sometimes he reacts to me, he reacts to his mom, and helping him discern what is his own emotion, and ours is a really good skill to learn. And he's having to learn it a lot sooner than I wished, but so be it, and that's life. And as far as kind of this is me, that's something that I'm really having to kind of sit in of, is this the way that I would want things to be? No. Did the decision that I made to not be with his mom anymore, knowing the repercussions that it would have on him at this time, do I think that was a good decision? I do. I 100% think it's a good decision, especially for me, being happy, being healthy, which I was not. I could not see myself doing that for 14 more years until he graduates and then start a life. But also for him, in the ripple effect of him seeing a happy, healthy dad, not necessarily to be with somebody else. It wasn't about that. It was more about being healthy myself, and being in an environment where I didn't see that I could do that. So he'll understand that from my perspective at some point. Whether or not he agrees with it is up to him. I can't decide that for him, and he's definitely going to hear his mom's version of things as well. And it's up to him whether he believes it or believes it to be true or takes it in. I have to sit back and understand that I can't decide that for him. I can just tell him my truth, tell him why I did those things, and hopefully he can feel that it came from love and came from trying to be the best person I can be, and then also that means being the best dad that I can be to him. And I felt that being in a different environment, being in two houses, was going to be better for all of us long term. Short term, it's been pretty hellish and stressful, a lot less stressful than it was in years past, a lot less stressful than it was when this decision first was made, and the initial part of it, and the initial moving out, and the initial first couple months of going back and forth between houses, and helping him navigate that, but then also the three of us figuring those things out. It's way better now than it ever was, but there's still a lot of stress, and it's still within the first year of all these changes. So it's a process, and it's going to take some time. But now that things are calming down a little bit, in that I'm able to even more so focus on he and I's relationship, just not in I need to maintain it because the household's broke up, but just in who we are and who we're bonding, how we're bonding, and what we're doing together, and what I want to teach him and what I want to help him with. And so more and more of those kind of reflections and the studying I'm doing. Obviously, I've been doing episodes here, but, going back full force of sharing that and helping me process it and have the interviews coming down. There's a lot of work that I've done over these last months and discovered things, authors and books and tools that I'll share with you and hopefully bring those interviews on so you can get them directly from the source rather than my synopsis or my interpretation of them. It's always good at getting it from the source. So I'll be bringing those things to you. Creating the Slack group, the online community is something I'll really want to help expand and have more and more people sharing in. So if you haven't jumped into the Slack group yet, go to the dadhoodjourney.com page. You'll see the place to be able to get the email with invite, so you can get the email invite to it. It's for dads only. Whether you're a single dad, whether you're a couple dad, whether you're an old dad, whether you're a new dad, a dad to be, if you're a dad and you want support and you want to support others and you want to learn and grow and share, that's the place that we're going to be doing it. So go check that out. But as far as this 100 episode milestone, I'm proud of it. I've done a lot of podcasting on my other podcast, and making it to 100 there took a lot longer, and I learned a lot from it, and I'm just happy in a podcast sense to get to that. But really, I'm just excited to have this Dadhood Journey movement just get started. It started a year and a half ago, like I said, but it's gaining some significant momentum in these last couple months. I think as I'm coming out of my own haze, I can focus in a different way in serving dads and dadhood, rather than where I've been for, say, aside from the last couple months, like the 6 months prior, like I was in my own world, just trying to navigate it, and hopefully what I've learned there, I'll be able to share with you and help you along your path. So again, I want to end this episode with gratitude for you guys listening. Send me your feedback about what you'd like to see more of, or things that you need support with, and I want you to have it, because being a dad to me is really the most important thing to me in my life. It sounds so cliche when I say it, but it's just freaking true. And the things that I do to learn and grow, like I want it to be able to pass on to my kiddo. And I see a lot of him, or a lot of me in him when I was that age, and I'll be sharing more of that. I think that's something I'll be able to help him with, because I know like what he's going through, and I think that's what we want as dads, to make our kids' life the best we can possibly make it, and help them along their way, hopefully start them off in life and on first base rather than in the batter's box, give them a little advance. And hopefully this is one of the tools of many that you're using to become a better dad and a better person. So thank you for being along this journey with me. Reach out, let's share this experience, and we'll connect on the next episode. All right, take care, dads.
Thanks for listening to that episode. Guess what? My dad just formed a new thing. It's called a Slack group.
What's that?
I don't know. But you can find more about it and join if you go to thedadhoodjourney.com. See you there. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.